Hello, and welcome to Always with Awareness. My name is Awa and Doug.
And I'm Douglas Lodmell. And today, I want to talk about long-term relationships, marriages, and when they end.
Ooh,
Yeah. So it's happening. There's some people in our lives right now where it's happening too, which has made me think of this topic because it's kind of tough to discuss with some people because you're not really part of their inner circle,
yes.
and yet you want to support them. And then, of course, with other people, you are part of their inner circle. And we've been through several of our friends going through this.
Yes.
And so I think we have a pretty good set of data points for how this, and of course, both of us were divorced, have been divorced. So we have our own experience as well.
That's right.
And I think everybody's had a relationship end, long term, or even it could be short term, but it could be intense.
Yeah.
So I guess my first question is, how somebody who's going through that, let's say it's in the initial stages and it's really intense right at the moment, how would you recommend they deal with it or they start to think about it?
Well, it is tough. I mean, I like that you approach it with long time relationship, as if it was different, and it is different for most of us because the more time we spend on something, the more we feel like we are giving more of ourselves.
More invested.
Yeah. So we want it to last forever. But when it comes to relationship, as much as we want it to be timeline importance, I believe it's more like quality.
Yeah. Okay.
Quality versus how long is what was the quality of the relationship.
Yeah.
That's the question to be asked.
Right.
It doesn't matter how long you are in a relationship. It's what is the quality of the relationship. And if the quality of the relationship is not in line with you, where you want to go, your goal, how you see yourself, I think it's time to really just stop it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part that people have to deal with is like I spend so much time waiting for the other one to get me, waiting for life to be better, waiting for me to forgive or to understand. I think the question, again, is it doesn't matter the time. Long or short. Is it quality?
So I totally understand that. I totally resonate with that. If you just look at relationships that are long, 20 years,
Yes.
but the quality has deteriorated,
Yeah.
nobody's really broken up about leaving that relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Usually it's both sides are like, yeah, I'm done.
Yes.
Not always. Sometimes the quality is different for the two parties.
That's right.
One of them is getting what they need out of the relationship and the other one is not. So let's talk about that a little bit because I actually see that quite a bit.
Yes.
And one person is just they're not getting what they need.
Yeah.
And they often they'll say we tried, we went to therapy, I've tried to express myself and it's just not happening. How in that situation, if you're either the party leaving or the party being left, how do you see it?
Well, let's tackle therapy together.
Okay.
I mean, I think therapy is something that you do individually. I'm not saying that sometime you don't need to take your partner to therapy, but the one person that needs to go to therapy is the one that is having a problem.
Exactly.
And the one who's having a problem should go to therapy alone. Don't drag the person who is happy in the relationship. Take to therapy the one who is unhappy with the relationship.
Which means don't try to fix the other person.
No.
So if you're the one unhappy in a relationship, it's for you
Exactly.
to decide how you want to deal with that. You may need therapy. You may want to go to therapy to have someone to
Absolutely.
talk that through with.
Yes.
But it's not because a lot of times what I hear is, well, my problem is them.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not happy and my problem is them. And I want them to go to therapy so that they realize what they can do to change so that I'll be happy.
That's right. And actually what is to be said also is that, yes, it would be nice for your partner to be there with you while you're doing your therapy, but it's not a lot of people that can just support like that. And that's why you go to somebody who is willing to do it for you. And it doesn't have to be always your partner. And actually appreciate them knowing that they don't have all the tools to help you with what you're going through. And if you think that they are your problem, whatever they're doing is your problem, still is something to take care of within yourself.
Right.
Within yourself. Doesn't matter if that problem is small, by the way, or big.
Yeah.
And I know we have example of those because I know how right now a personal example is not coming, but I'm sure you might have one of just little things that you see your partner doing that is aggravating you, that you were gonna think about, oh my God, can I live with this? And yet you end up having that thing, whatever that thing is, either disappear by itself or is no longer a trigger for you. Why? Because you have done your work personally.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have a saying between us that we teach our kids, which is the person with the problem has the problem. And
Has
so
to let go of it too, because they have it.
they have the problem. So you'll see a particular relationship in a couple, and one person is just totally seems fine.
That's right.
They are oblivious to the problems, the other one, and the other one is just suffering.
That's right.
Just dying, can't, and then you talk to them alone. And we're fortunate we're able to often kind of break off and talk to each party separately. I'll end up talking to the husband, you'll end up talking to the wife, and you get a real sense of the disconnect that's happening.
Yes, and who's having the problem.
And who's having the problem. And of course, our counsel is always, if you're the one having the problem, you are the one that has the solution. The solution is inside of you.
Exactly.
It's either a miracle, which is a change in your perspective on something, in which case you quit having a problem with it. So let's just say, my wife likes to get up before I leave for work, and she's a morning person, go hiking, and just she's gone.
That's right.
And that would be fine, but then also she wants to go to bed exceedingly early because she gets up so early. And so what we end up with is really almost no time, because I go to work a little bit later and then I work till later, and we maybe have an hour where we're crossing paths, and that's not working for me, right?
That's right.
And for the other person, it's actually, this works great.
I don't get to see your ass in the morning.
I mean, sometimes it is limiting the exposure to each other, but there's an example, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, it seems like, I have a problem with her.
That's right.
I have a problem with her because she's not making time for me when I'm available.
That's right.
And I have to work. I don't have a big choice around it, but she doesn't have to hike at 5 a.m. and go to bed at 6:30, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not a problem. It's not her problem in that case.
That's right.
It's his problem.
That's right.
If that's what we're happening, right?
Yeah.
It would be his problem to say, wow, am I okay with this? And can I express myself? Is there a change that can be made? And if there's not, then the question is simply, can I live with it?
Can I
Am
live
I
with
okay
it?
with that?
Yeah. Am I okay with having a wife that I barely see because we don't have the same schedule?
Right. And then there's times where we go on vacation or we do, I mean, there's going to be times, but whatever it is, right?
Exactly.
And this is just an example I made up out of one of a zillion different things that you could come up with.
That's right.
Right. It could be anything. It could be my husband golfs. He wants to golf all the time.
Yes.
And I just don't ever feel like we have time together because he's golfing. Every free day he has, he's golfing.
That's right.
And
I have to say, the more I listen to you give these examples, I see a pattern here that if you are young, like 30s, 40s, all the way sometime to 50s, it could be a problem. Beyond that, I see that people can be very settled in their ways and have less problem with it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that's the solution.
That's the solution. Exactly. Sometimes that is the solution.
Right.
And most of the time, women that arrive to that age have different needs.
Yeah.
We have different needs with different periods of our life. When you're 20, you want to be out partying. When you're 30, you want to be with your kids. When you're 40, you're like, okay, I'm tired. Do I have a life? When you're a woman, do I have a life? What's going on? I mean, life is fleeing. 50, you're going like, okay, I don't want to be out after 10, 11 at night. 60, you're like, okay, maybe we have separate bedrooms. I mean, but I see that pattern.
Yeah.
And it's good to know, by the way, that if you don't do anything, you are going to fit that pattern.
Yeah. So you are going to fall into whatever pattern works for you.
Absolutely.
And you're building the pattern now.
You're building it now.
It's when you're 20, 30, 40 that you're building the patterns that you're going to live when you're 40, 50, 60. Those are being built as you, and you can see it. If you look back, I think one of the defining features of our relationship is that we knew that, and we early made some decisions that we said, okay, this is what the patterns we want to set.
Exactly.
And today we are enjoying the fruits of having built those things together.
Yes.
To the point where we could even do this podcast together, right?
That's right.
It's something we're
That's
doing
right.
together because we made a conscious choice to be together. Now, if we back up to what I originally asked, which is, okay, now it's not being saved. There's no saving of the relationship. Somebody has decided, I am done. And let's say you're the one that's not done and you were okay in the relationship and the other person made the decision for you that they're done. How do you handle that?
Well, the end of a relationship is just like grieving. You're going to do all the three or four stages of grief.
Yeah.
And it's to know that. I mean, I think why it's always good to know what is the pattern that I'm about to get into. And to see it as a pattern.
Right.
It strengthens you to know where you're heading.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why earlier I was giving that pattern of if you don't do this work of togetherness, of sharing time together, sharing projects together, sharing joyful time together, whatever that is, yes, there will be a time where you are separated. You're just taking different ways. Then come the divorce. And that doesn't matter if it's a 4 years marriage, 2 years marriage, or 20, long lifetime. The quality of being together wasn't there. Now, comes the time to divorce. Like I said, it's like a grieving. You're going to do the 4 stages. At 1, it's going to be painful. Second, you're going to blame. You're going to be angry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the 4 stages exactly, but you're right. You're going to go through, but it's denial. I think is first. You're going to deny that it's over. You're going to be like, no, this can't be happening.
Exactly.
Then it's anger. You're
Yes.
going to be angry. You're going to be like very pissed.
Very
right?
pissed.
And then
Third, you're going to just acceptance.
you end up getting to acceptance.
You end up getting to acceptance.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's somebody leaving you. Now, they're not dead, but they are not part of your life anymore. And it's painful.
Yeah.
So, and it's to respect those times and to see it coming, to know at the end of the tunnel, you're going to find joy again. And you're going to be, I remember telling one of our friends in Colorado who went through a very hard divorce that one day they will be talking again. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, never. It will never happen. Why? Because she was still angry. And past all those stages, you're going to find again. And just know that, and knowing that that's where you're going to end up. To maybe not be the best friends again, but enough to realize that they fulfilled a part of your life. And there's nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. And they didn't do anything wrong. It's just, it was time to leave.
And somebody had the strength to do it.
And
right?
somebody has the strength
Because
to
the
do it.
quality of the relationship, some person might be okay with the quality and the other is not. But the reality is the quality of the relationship for both sides can't be high if one side is truly unhappy.
That's right.
It can't be a high quality relationship. It might be acceptable because of what you're getting from it, or because your priorities are not really the relationship, they're your kids, or they're the security that you get from being in a relationship, or whatever it is. But the reality is the quality relationship wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now, anger is where I see a lot of people just get stuck.
Yes.
Because anger is easy to get stuck in.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you're just, I want to stay angry. And I've seen people stay angry with the divorced spouse for years and years. And not just, they're not even trying to get over it. They're fostering it. They're boiling it. They're marinating in that anger.
That's right.
What would you say to that?
Well, anger is something we just allow ourselves to be all the time. It's just like it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be angry because I'm getting a divorce. Why? Why should you be? I mean, we know that every marriage can end. People come into our life for a day, for a year, for years. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sometimes they leave because they die. That's okay too. It's to know what comes with life.
Yeah.
And to be okay with life.
Yeah, to be okay.
To be okay with life. You know, nobody was created for your design.
Yeah.
And if anything, you had needed them in your life. You had prayed to have them fall in love. Remember the time you had before you get married. How you wanted that person. Like how you wanted anything in your life. But when it comes time, because you have grown up, because you have different needs, or they do, just accept that is part of life. Now, if you have somebody that, of course, go to the end of your life, oh my God, celebrating life, that's something to be grateful for too. But it's not more or less.
Yeah.
It's not more or less. And once you live life like that, which is, again, this is always a call to more awareness, more presence. What do you call awareness? It's just more presence. What do you call the truth? Is what you know to be. What we know to be is, when you come here, you're going to experience these things. Pain. Pain. I didn't say suffering. Pain.
For sure.
For sure. Sickness. For sure. To which degree? Doesn't matter. You're just going to experience a little bit of it, more of it, medium, who cares? Death. For sure. So if you decide already, divorce, doesn't matter. You're divorcing your husband, or you separating from just separation. Let's call it separation, not divorce, separation. For sure. So if you're okay with it, and that's why this beautiful time of reflecting, which is this month of Ramadan where we are, and that's why you take time for yourself, like they say, you know, and all of that is to strengthen you, to be clear, to have quality of life. By the way, that's where you really have quality of life.
Yeah, well, and it's like food. If you don't know what quality food tastes like, you're happy with just, food, or whatever level of food you're happy with. Once you get a taste of quality food, your palate, if you can keep that coming, your palate will change, and you'll go back to the food that you thought was good, and you can't even eat it. It's just unedible. The same is true in the quality of your life, your relationships, your presence, your work, everything. When we don't know what quality looks like, anything will do. Any relationship will do. Anything, right?
Yeah.
When we know what it looks like, when we actually taste it and we understand it, it won't do. And I think what happens is our palate changes for all of us as we grow.
That's right.
You're nothing stays the same. Your 20-year-old palate with food is not the same as when you're 40 or 60.
That's right.
Your 20-year-old palate with relationship and what you're willing to accept and be in a relationship is not going to be the same. You might have changed your palate with the same person. You might get married at 20 and at 40 realize, wow, this is a totally different thing. And along the way, you did not raise that quality together. You grew separately. And that happens.
That happens.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. Again, don't beat yourself, even though I know you're going to go through those stages of grief. There is no way out of it. And it's okay. Mm-hmm. Just know that you didn't do anything wrong. Your partner didn't do anything wrong. In life, there are people that come for hours, minutes, days, years, but you get to cherish them. You've done the best you can. And a divorce is a tough one. By experience, both you and I know what it is. Mm-hmm. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, it feels like you just fail. You feel like a failure. On top of it, if there were kids involved, you didn't fail. You can't fail your life. And whatever it is that brought that separation with you and your loved ones, just know, trust. If it was because you felt abused, if it was because you felt misunderstood, and that only this separation will make you find yourself, accept that. And don't blame. If anything, be grateful that they're giving you again what you wanted. I think that's what it is.
And it's true if you're also the one leaving.
Yeah.
And there can be a lot of guilt with that, feeling
That's
like
right.
you giving up, especially when the other one is hurting so much.
Yes.
And wants you to be guilty and is feeling maybe betrayed because, till death do us part. And one of you is saying, I need to go now.
Yeah.
And
death of this relationship.
Death of this relationship. So for both parties, there's a lot. And that those stages of grief will happen whether you are the one that left or whether you're getting left.
That's right.
It's the same. So, but be gentle and be patient and kind with yourself first.
Yes.
With your partner to the extent that it's possible.
That's right.
I know it can be difficult. Sometimes it's terrible. And of course, children make it all that much harder, but your job is to help them know that it's not their fault. They did nothing wrong. And,
that's right.
And to not try to make it about blame and guilt, because if you do, that's what you're teaching, blame and guilt. And it might make you feel better in the moment, but you're passing that on to your children. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. And it can bite you back.
Oh, it will bite you back.
For
yeah.
Sure.
Because they'll turn that right back on you soon enough. So
yeah.
Not worth it.
So I guess as much as we can try to, that's a hard one.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
So our heart is with whoever is going through a separation, a loss, and we are with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And know that it will be all right. And know that if you take the tenet that all things are working to perfection, then it's easier to accept.
That's
and
right.
I certainly believe that with all my heart. I've chosen to believe that. It serves in every possible way, but mostly when things are tough. That's when it serves the most. Just trusting that everything is working to perfection.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
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 So that was about
Divorce.
divorce.
Yeah. Divorce, separation. Divorce
Yeah.
and separation.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we did it. So thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. And feel free to ask us questions anytime in the comments. We do monitor them and we will answer you, or we'll talk about it on the next show.
Absolutely. And again, I don't know about you. I need the motivation.
Yeah.
So if you like it, push the button likes, but even more, comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See you.